When a woman realizes you're losing interest, watch out. It's like a switch flips. Women are hardwired to pick up on attention and energy shifts, especially from a guy they've been involved with or who's shown genuine interest. This isn't just some touchy-feely thing. It's about power dynamics. When you suddenly pull back, it throws off her sense of control, forcing her to question her position in your life. This reaction isn't random. It's rooted in psychology and evolutionary biology. Losing interest, whether intentional or natural, completely reverses the dynamic. She goes from feeling desired and secure to feeling uncertain and vulnerable. Women often seek validation, consciously or unconsciously, from the men who pursued them. When that validation disappears, it triggers confusion, self-doubt, and even a competitive streak. That's why you'll notice a woman suddenly reaching out more, trying to reconnect, or even showing up where she knows you'll be. It's not just about missing your attention. It's about her fighting to reclaim the sense of control she felt when you were invested. As a man, understanding this reaction puts you in a powerful position. When you master the art of creating distance, you not only regain control of the dynamic, but you also project high value. Men who act from a place of abundance, rather than neediness, exude strength. This isn't about playing games. It's about recognizing your worth and positioning yourself as someone who isn't easily swayed. Women instinctively respect and are drawn to this energy. In this video, I'm going to break down the typical reactions she'll have when she senses you're losing interest and teach you how to navigate this dynamic effectively. Mastering this will not only elevate your dating life, but also make you more confident in all your relationships. Let's dive in. 1. She becomes super interested. When a woman realizes you're losing interest, one of the first things you'll notice is she suddenly becomes way more attentive. Women are wired to pick up on subtle energy shifts, and as soon as she senses you're pulling away, it creates a void she feels compelled to fill. This shift often triggers her competitive instincts, especially if she suspects other women might be vying for your attention. She'll start paying closer attention to your actions, words, and overall demeanor, even things she previously overlooked. This newfound interest often manifests as her initiating contact more frequently, asking about your day, or trying to insert herself into your life in ways she didn't before. You might get unexpected compliments, hear her laughing at jokes she previously brushed off, or see her actively engaging with your social media posts. These changes aren't coincidental. They're her way of re-establishing a connection and drawing your attention back to her. From your perspective, this is where you need to hold your ground. A man who reacts too quickly to this newfound interest risks falling right back into her frame. It's tempting to reciprocate her newfound enthusiasm, but doing so too eagerly can reverse the power shift you've just created. Instead, stay focused on your own priorities and let her come to you. Respond confidently, but avoid overinvesting. 2. Sudden interest in your stuff. She might ask about your hobbies, suggest plans she knows you'll enjoy, or even bring up topics you mentioned in the past. This is her way of signaling that she's paying attention and values your interests. Again, don't let this derail your frame. Acknowledge her efforts without losing sight of your own goals. It's worth noting that her newfound interest may come with subtle signs of anxiety. She might seem overly eager to please, or her text might take on an insecure tone, like asking if you're upset or if something has changed. These are signs that she's feeling insecure about your withdrawal and is trying to gauge her standing with you. While this might stroke your ego, it's crucial to stay grounded. Overplaying your hand by acting dismissive or arrogant can backfire, turning her interest into resentment. Instead, keep your interactions measured and purposeful. Respond in a way that shows you're in control, but also conveys that your attention isn't easily earned. A high-value man doesn't rush to reassure someone who's suddenly realizing they might lose him. By staying calm and steady, you reinforce the idea that her increased interest is a response to your strength, not something you need to chase or validate. This newfound interest is a key indicator she's noticed. Recognizing and handling it correctly allows you to maintain control of the dynamic, keeping her intrigued while showcasing your value. It's a delicate balance, but mastering it sets the tone for the power you hold moving forward. 3. She tests your resolve. Once a woman realizes you're losing interest, her next move is often to test your resolve. Women are naturally attracted to men who are stable and confident, but when you pull back, she'll instinctively check to see if your withdrawal is genuine or just a temporary act. These tests serve as a way for her to assess your emotional strength, self-control, and commitment to the new dynamic you've created. How you respond will determine whether she respects you or dismisses you as someone easily manipulated. One of the most common tests is her acting cold or distant to see if you'll chase her. If she senses you've pulled back, she might mirror your behavior in an effort to regain the upper hand. This is a calculated move designed to provoke a reaction. Many men fall into this trap, rushing to reassure her or doubling down on their efforts to reconnect. Doing so immediately shifts the power back into her hands and negates the impact of your initial withdrawal. Instead, you need to stay calm and unwavering. If she's acting distant, reciprocate her energy or maintain a cool indifference. Your lack of reaction sends a clear message that you're not playing games and your self-worth isn't tied to her validation. This response will force her to reconsider her strategy and, more often than not, prompt her to drop the cold act and pursue you more openly. Another test you might encounter is her attempting to elicit jealousy. She might casually mention other men, post photos designed to get your attention, or subtly hint at her options. This is a tactic meant to stir up insecurity within you, prompting you to react emotionally and reaffirm your interest in her. Falling for this gives her the control she's seeking, but staying calm and unaffected reinforces your value. A man who doesn't react to such provocations demonstrates confidence and emotional maturity, qualities women find irresistible. She might also test your boundaries by becoming more demanding or critical. This could be as simple as her picking fights over trivial matters or pressuring you to explain your behavior. The goal is to destabilize your resolve and pull you back into her frame of control. Avoid engaging in unnecessary arguments or over-explaining yourself. Instead, keep your responses clear and concise, showing her that you won't be drawn into her emotional chaos. Understanding the psychology behind these tests is crucial. Women respect men who stand their ground under pressure and don't flinch at the first sign of resistance. Each test is an opportunity for you to reinforce your value and demonstrate your independence. The more consistently you handle these moments with confidence and self-control, the more she'll perceive you as a man worth pursuing. By standing firm during these tests, you maintain the upper hand in the dynamic. This not only increases her respect for you, but also solidifies your position as a man who operates on his own terms. For she gets emotionally erratic. When a woman realizes you're losing interest, one of the most noticeable reactions is an increase in emotional unpredictability. This shift happens because the loss of your attention disrupts her sense of control and stability. Women are highly sensitive to the emotional dynamics in relationships, and when they feel that balance slipping, it creates an internal conflict that often manifests as sudden mood swings, mixed signals, or dramatic behavior. This erratic behavior is her way of processing the situation and, more importantly, attempting to regain control of the connection. At first, you might notice an increase in warmth and affection. She might shower you with compliments, seek your validation, or express how much she values you. These moments of intense connection are calculated attempts to pull you back into her frame. She hopes that by being sweet and attentive, she can reignite your interest. However, if this doesn't produce the desired results, her demeanor can quickly shift to frustration or even anger. This sudden change isn't random. It's her way of testing whether her emotional fluctuations will provoke a response from you. For example, she might start picking fights over minor issues, criticizing you more frequently, or accusing you of being uncaring. These emotional outbursts are designed to force you to address her feelings and, by extension, re-engage with her. Many men fall into the trap of overreacting in these moments, either by trying to placate her or defending themselves excessively. Both responses hand control back to her, which is exactly what she's looking for. Instead, your job is to stay calm and emotionally detached. Let her emotions unfold without getting swept up in her storm. Another aspect of this unpredictability is mixed signals. One moment she might act clingy and overinvested, while the next she might withdraw or act cold. These shifts can be confusing, but they serve a purpose: to see if you'll chase her when she pulls away or double down when she acts needy. Recognizing this pattern allows you to navigate it effectively. Avoid trying to decode every signal and instead focus on maintaining your own emotional stability. Mixed signals lose their power when you refuse to be swayed by them. In some cases, emotional unpredictability can escalate into attention-seeking behavior. She might post cryptic messages online, flaunt her social life, or create situations designed to make you feel like you're missing out. This is her way of dragging your focus back to her, forcing you to wonder what she's up to. The key here is to resist the urge to react. A man who remains unbothered by her attempts to provoke him sends a powerful message. His value isn't dependent on her approval or attention. Ultimately, emotional unpredictability is her way of handling the discomfort of your withdrawal and attempting to regain the upper hand. By staying grounded, composed, and emotionally disciplined, you show her that her tactics don't affect you. This reinforces your value and keeps you in control of the dynamic, ensuring she has to work to earn your attention back. 5. She tries to rekindle your desire. Once a woman realizes you're losing interest, she'll often shift gears and try to rekindle your desire. This behavior stems from a need to reclaim the attention and validation she feels slipping away. When she senses that your focus has shifted elsewhere, her instinct is to reestablish her influence over you by becoming more attractive, more desirable, and more engaging. This phase is crucial because it's when she makes a concerted effort to prove her worth in your eyes, a stark contrast to when she might have taken your interest for granted. One of the first tactics she might employ is enhancing her appearance. Women know how visual men are, and when she senses you've checked out, she'll work to make herself more appealing in your eyes. This could mean dressing more provocatively, experimenting with her hair or makeup, or showcasing her best features in ways that are hard to miss. Pay attention to how she presents herself around you. If she's suddenly putting in more effort than before, it's a sign she's trying to draw your attention back to her. Beyond her appearance, she might also alter her demeanor. She might become more agreeable, more playful, or more flirtatious, highlighting the qualities she knows you found attractive in the first place. You might notice her laughing more at your jokes, initiating lighthearted conversations, or even reminiscing about fun moments you shared. This is her way of reigniting the spark, reminding you of the connection you once had. While it can feel flattering, remember to maintain your composure. A high-value man doesn't immediately cave at the first sign of renewed interest. He assesses whether her efforts are genuine or simply a reaction to losing control. Another method she might use is creating opportunities for you to notice her. She might go out of her way to cross paths with you, become more active on social media, or subtly place herself in environments where she knows you'll be present. This behavior isn't accidental, it's intentional. She wants to remind you of her presence and show you what you're missing. While these gestures might seem coincidental, they are carefully calculated moves designed to draw your attention back to her. Additionally, she might shift her behavior to more closely align with your interests or preferences. If you've mentioned liking a particular activity, hobby, or type of person, she might suddenly start exhibiting those qualities. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It shows she's willing to put in effort, but it's also a test of your resolve. Don't immediately reward her behavior. Instead, observe whether these changes are consistent over time or simply a short-term strategy to regain your interest. The most important thing you can do during this phase is to hold your ground. Don't jump back into old patterns of chasing or over-investing in her efforts. Let her work to rebuild the connection on your terms. A high-value man recognizes that her renewed interest is a response to his self-respect and independence. By maintaining your frame, you ensure that any rekindled connection is based on mutual value, not her temporary need to reclaim control. 6. She plays mind games. When a woman realizes you're losing interest, one of the more complex reactions is her attempt to regain control through mind games. These tactics are designed to confuse you, trigger emotional responses, and shift the dynamic back in her favor. Mind games are her way of testing your emotional discipline and patience, often leading many men to second-guess their decisions. Understanding and navigating these games with confidence ensures that you don't fall into her traps or compromise your position. A common mind game she might employ is creating ambiguity about her feelings. She'll oscillate between acting as if she's over you and dropping hints that she's still interested. For example, She might post cryptic messages on social media, allude to dating other people, or act indifferent when meeting in person while sending late-night texts suggesting the opposite. The goal is to keep you guessing and wondering where you stand. This tactic aims to make you chase her for clarification, shifting the power dynamic back to her. The key here is to avoid seeking reassurance or falling for a web of mixed signals. Maintain your emotional detachment and let her inconsistencies speak for themselves. Another classic move is attempting to induce jealousy. She might mention other men or deliberately let you know about her newfound social activity. This isn't accidental. It's a calculated effort to elicit an emotional response. If she sees that you're unsettled or threatened, it confirms her ability to control your emotions, even after you've withdrawn. The best response is cool indifference. A man who doesn't react to these provocations demonstrates confidence and high value, which often frustrates her attempts to destabilize you. She might also try to manipulate your sense of guilt or obligation. This could take the form of reminding you of shared experiences, pointing out how much effort she put into the relationship, or even playing the victim by appealing to your emotions. She hopes to make you question your decision to withdraw your interest. While it's natural to feel compassion, don't allow yourself to be coerced into overextending. Responding from a place of obligation rather than genuine interest weakens your position. In more extreme cases, she might attempt to test your resolve through direct manipulation, such as threatening to leave altogether. This is often a bluff to see if you'll crack and beg for her attention. If you concede, she regains the upper hand and confirms that your withdrawal was only temporary. The right move is to call her bluff. A man who's okay with letting her walk away, if necessary, conveys a sense of unwavering self-respect. Mind games are designed to provoke an emotional reaction, so your greatest weapon is emotional control. The moment you react impulsively, you lose the upper hand. Instead, focus on maintaining your clarity, patience, and personal boundaries. A woman will respect a man who can see through her games and remain unaffected. By staying grounded and consistent, you reinforce your value and keep her guessing, flipping the power dynamic in your favor. 7. She tries to reassert dominance. When a woman realizes you're losing interest, she might try to reassert dominance in the dynamic. This is a defense mechanism that arises from her need to feel in control, especially when she senses that you've shifted the balance of power. Her goal is to regain the upper hand and demonstrate that she's the one calling the shots in the relationship. This phase can be subtle or overt, but it's crucial that you recognize it and respond with unwavering confidence. One way she might reassert dominance is by becoming dismissive or belittling. She might downplay your achievements, mock your choices, or even highlight her own accomplishments as a way to undermine your confidence. For example, she might make comments like, "You've been acting so different lately. It's not as attractive as you think," or subtly mention how other men are interested in her without directly saying so. This is a calculated move to provoke insecurity and prompt you to seek her validation again. The worst mistake you can make here is to take the bait. Don't defend yourself or argue. Instead, stay composed and let her words fall flat. A man who doesn't react emotionally to such tactics demonstrates inner strength and self-worth. She might also attempt to dominate by reclaiming control of the communication dynamic. This could mean becoming less accessible, taking longer to respond to messages, or canceling plans at the last minute. These actions are meant to convey that she's still in charge of how and when interactions occur. Many men respond to this by chasing harder, trying to re-establish contact on her terms. Resist this urge. Instead, mirror her behavior by prioritizing your time and remaining indifferent to her attempts at control. Another tactic is her becoming overly critical or judgmental. She might start pointing out flaws she never mentioned before or questioning your decisions and actions in an effort to destabilize your confidence. For example, she might say, "I don't understand why you're doing this. You're not the person I thought you were," or criticize your goals or lifestyle choices. This isn't genuine feedback. It's an attempt to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Instead of engaging in her negativity, maintain your composure and stick to your path. Confidence in your own decisions is the ultimate rebuttal to her criticisms. On a more social level, she might try to dominate by flaunting her independence or social value. She might post pictures with friends, attend events without telling you, or emphasize how well she's doing without your attention. This is another attempt to provoke a reaction, aiming to make you feel like you're the one losing out. The correct response is focusing on your own life, investing in your goals, improving yourself, and showing that her actions don't affect your progress. A high-value man isn't distracted by such displays. Ultimately, her attempts to reassert dominance stem from her discomfort with losing control. By maintaining your frame, remaining indifferent to her provocations, and continuing to focus on your own priorities, you reinforce your value and show her that you're not a man who can be manipulated back into submission. A calm, steady demeanor will always trump her efforts to dominate. 8. She pursues you more actively. When a woman realizes you're truly losing interest, her final move is often to pursue you more actively. This behavior stems from a mix of curiosity, frustration, and a fear of losing someone she values. Women are naturally drawn to what feels scarce or unattainable, and when you've made it clear through your actions that her grip on you is loosened, it triggers her competitive nature. At this stage, her pursuit can become more overt, intentional, and persistent. One of the clearest signs of this shift is her increased efforts at communication. If she used to wait for you to text or call first, she's now proactively initiating contact more frequently. She might check in with you out of the blue, send you seemingly random messages, or comment on your social media posts more often. These aren't chance actions. They're deliberate attempt to stay on your radar and re-establish a connection. The key here is to maintain a measured attitude in your response. Don't rush to reciprocate her enthusiasm. A calm and slightly detached approach keeps the dynamic in your favor. Another tactic she might use is making her intentions more obvious. If she used to be aloof or maintain a sense of mystery, that behavior might disappear. She might openly express a desire to spend more time with you or reminisce about moments you've shared in the past. For example, she might say, "I miss how things used to be," or "We always have such a great time together." While it can be tempting to fall back into old patterns, it's important to recognize that her increased efforts are a reaction to the shift in your behavior. Don't immediately reward her pursuit. Let her actions prove her intentions over time. You might also notice her becoming more competitive. If she senses that there might be other women in your life, she's likely to step up her efforts to stand out. This could mean going out of her way to impress you, showcasing her best qualities, or even subtly undermining potential rivals. For example, she might start highlighting how well she understands you compared to others, or emphasizing her unique connection with you. These moves are designed to position herself as the most valuable choice in your eyes. Your response should be consistent, acknowledging her efforts without allowing her to regain control of the dynamic. Another telltale sign of her active pursuit is an increase in her availability. If she used to play games with her time or make you wait for her attention, she might suddenly become more flexible and eager to meet up. She's likely to prioritize seeing you over other commitments, hoping to rekindle the spark that drew you to her in the first place. While it's okay to accept some of these advances, you should remain selective. A high-value man doesn't rearrange his priorities just because someone starts showing interest. Ultimately, her active pursuit is a direct response to your decision to pull back and focus on your own value. By staying grounded and not rushing to meet her halfway, you reinforce the idea that your attention is earned, not freely given. This dynamic keeps her invested and ensures that any renewed connection is on your terms, not hers. When a woman realizes you're losing interest, her reactions reveal a lot about the power dynamics at play. From emotional unpredictability and mind games to active pursuit, each move reflects her attempt to regain control and your attention. As a man, your focus should remain on emotional discipline, self-respect, and maintaining your frame. By not reacting impulsively or abandoning your priorities, you assert yourself as a high-value individual who can't be manipulated. The key is consistency. Stay grounded and let her actions speak louder than her words. By doing so, you control the narrative and keep the power in your hands.